So, welcome to our ensuite. So I thought I'd give you a quick tour. I'm stood at the head of the bed at the moment. You can see the nice big window on the top left-hand side. This is the bedroom section. The partition leads into a walk-in wardrobe, so let's just pan across. So, cupboards at the side, nice big window. All our drawers are going to be in the bedroom section to make use of that low head height at the sides. Central area, a big walk-in wardrobe. The wardrobes on the right are going to have mirrored doors, as actually is the one on the left. So here we're approaching the top of the stairs. Just behind that doorway is the dressing area. So there's a dressing table on the wall at the back. We're going to put a nice big Hollywood mirror, there we go, in that area with lighting. The access panel is at the back there in the corner, which you can see in the videos. And now let's just step into the bathroom. You can see straight ahead there's going to be a glass screen, and behind that the shower head that comes out of the ceiling. The round window isn't shown very well in this software, but there is a round window high up there at an angle in the hipped roof. So if I just step into the bathroom and turn around, you'll see where the sink and the toilet are going. And it's not going to be tiled or splashbacks. There's the sink, there's the toilet. Let's have a look down. There we go. So give you some context of what this room's going to look like when we're all done. There we are, back looking at the bedroom. So top of the stairs, window above the dressing area. Now let's have a look at the finishing of the bathroom. Bathroom. Let's start on the bathroom. So let's back up a bit. There's a stud wall, plastered, just drying still. We'll get painted in a couple of days. And now I've tidied out all the tools and stuff are in this bathroom area. So we have structural stud wall. We still have some insulation to put in at the edge. We've got a stud wall to put along there, and there's a round window. There it is, going in there. And likewise, there's a door. I've got to finish, insulate and chipboard that wall, work out where the kitchen's going to go, get the waste and hot and cold provisioned into the cavity, into there, and get some main job today is to do some measuring up and get this ready. So that's what we're going to be up to. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting in the soil, the waste pipe and the hot and cold pipes, cutting out the holes in the plywood, and I'm going to make provision for the shaver point as well there, keep it out of the way so the plasterboard, the shaver point grabs onto the plasterboard, put in the little triangular pieces with some insulation at the back, and then we're good to go. That is one long day. So what I've done today, I've measured up where the sink's going to go and put the waste in, provision some water. I'm going to have to get some taps that are going to come out of the wall, so what I've done is I've provisioned access for those. That's going to be a splashback eventually, so once I've got the taps in and I know they're working, because they'll come out of holes in this panel, then I can secure it all. And what this means now is I've screwed all the board in apart from this one, means I can plasterboard tomorrow. This took a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. The reason I'm using chipboard is so that I can screw things to it like mirrors, shelves, and I'm all happy. So I've got some moisture resistant plasterboard which will go on there. Hey! Wait, I tried killing myself with this. I've put insulation in here, not because we need to insulate the rooms, sound deadening. So that if somebody's making a noise on the latrine, as long as the door's shut, I'm not hearing it in the bedroom. Why wear a mask? Well, hopefully you can see the shards of light through all the dust. I've got a window open. I've just dusted. I just swept up in that room. Look at all this dust. Look at that. Just floated gently out the window. Bye bye dust. It's been a long day. It's, what is it, 7 o'clock? 6 o'clock? Oh, and I've been at it since 10:30. Yeah, it's just after 6 and I haven't stopped for any food or anything, or a cup of tea. So what's that, 7.5 hours, nearly 8 hours solid. just doing this. I've provisioned structure in so I can screw into it, so some beams sideways. That's glued in. The waste pipe comes out of the cavity the other side of this wall, so it's just provisioned for now. I'll rock and roll tomorrow. Ooh. Right, next day, not going to plasterboard this yet. I'm going to get this chipboarded out or plywooded out. Bit of electrics to do, and then I can go and get the plasterboard and plasterboard the rest of the room. That's the plan for today. It's Sunday morning. Yes, that was my guts. 10:30. Rock and roll. Now it might seem a bit daft that I'm doing electrics on the other side of the wall, but if I don't do it now, when I close up this wall, I'm not going to get the cables and stuff in very easily. So while I've got good access, I thought it'd be a sensible time to put some sockets in, light switches, the switch for the overhead fan, which is what I'm doing at the moment, up and down a ladder. This is great exercise for the legs and your glutes. So yeah, get electrical provision in before I close up this cavity. Right, well, it's now 2 o'clock, so I've been going for about 4 hours, and what have I been doing? Well, that is a fuse spur for the underfloor heating of the bathroom, electrical underfloor heating. That's the socket, but I've run out of double back boxes, so I've just left it as a loop. I haven't cut the cable, so I can do that from this side later. There's a light switch, there's a socket for the desk, and on this side, that is a double pole switch for the ceiling fan. It needs to be a fused one, so I'll have to change it, but it's there. So what I've been doing on the inside, oops, move my finger, is I've added a pad, which is for the humidity sensor, and then further on the wire that you see is wired up to the LED light for the fan, which will go up there, and the fan itself. I'm not boxing in and all that stuff just yet, because I don't need to, but I thought I'd get it wired up so that the circuits are good. And then the wall that I want to be building, which is this one, you can see there's a socket at the back, ring main into the fuse spur, ring main into the socket, and then back and out. And this is a lighting circuit which was already in. Now this red cable, this cable with a red loop, and it goes along down and out here, is for the switch for the underfloor heating, which is going to go up here. And the out the back of the socket here, at the back of the fuse spur, is a supply, you can see just tapped off for now, which is going to be for the power for the underfloor heating. But along here, the toilet's going in here, along here is going to be boxed in, so I can get the underfloor heating and connect it up at the back of the boxed in area. So that's the plan. So as I said, let's put the chipboard on plywood, get the insulation in first. I'm just putting reinforcing noggins in. Insulation, as you can see, it takes forever putting these little triangular pieces in. There we go. Let's cut another piece, get it wrong, re-measure it, recut it, get it wrong. But in they go. That means that this wall is good for hanging stuff off. I can screw into it with confidence. Just finished off the bit of ceiling and we're good. So we actually get to do some plasterboard. The blue stuff is moisture resistant. So here I am, and all you do is, because I've got the plywood behind, just cut it to shape, fix it on. Gaps and stuff I'll take care of with either foam or bonding plaster. Bonding plaster is not a final finish, it's really good stuff. So you can see me there, cutting the triangle, get it fitted, there we go. Lots of fiddly little bits, get them screwed on, and that's pretty much ready then for plastering, apart from some details in the tip of the roof, which we'll get onto in a little bit. Tidy up as ever, lots of dust, lots of rubbish. Right, I've taken some time off work. It's Friday, so I've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get this room ready for plastering. First thing I need to do is put the tap in, because I've got to sort out the depth that the tap comes from. Then I can get this in, then I can get this plasterboarded. The way I've done it is that obviously I've still got access to the back of the taps. So once it's plastered, I'll remove this panel, because it's at the back of the sink, it's going to get tiled over. I can see if there's any leaks down here, and if so, get in and sort it out. I've also got to sort out the waste. I had a brain fade. I've got a chrome pipe to go in here. I've glued in the other ones. That'll come out. That'll take me 10 minutes. But let's get these taps in. So finally the taps have arrived, and here I am fitting the pipe work, the taps, putting a little back plate in to make sure they're the right depth. Installation will go in a minute. I'll put the panel on, put some holes in it, make sure I can get at it. There we go, there's the installation. Put the panel on finally. I've left the access hatch so I can get to that later. Now I'm covering it up in plasterboard. I forgot about the spout in the middle, which is a bit dumb, but we'll take care of that later, it's not a problem. So there we are. We've finally got a bit of plasterboard on there. Put the electrics back, make sure everything fits, put the last bits of plasterboard up, and we're good to go. So here we are now, remembering that I've got to cut a hole for the spout. Fortunately, the spigot part of it is behind, so just cut a hole big enough, start fagging about with the bits and drill bits I've got. I ended up using a Stanley knife in the end, that was the best tool. The multi-tool actually helped me out a little bit as well, get through some of the plywood at the back. So I'm just making sure I've got good access, everything's clean and tidy. Get the spigot in because I want the plasterer to be able to plaster around this. Make sure it fits. And now I'm up to the peak of the ceiling. This is really grim, but I've got to put some pads in because you can't plaster onto wood. So I'll put the plasterboard pads in, and now I'm starting to work out and build where the shower ventilation is going to go, and actually the pipe coming out of the ceiling for the shower head. So you can't really see it now, but there's a mixture of cables, get them out of the way, a bit of wiring. There's a panel that I've made up with the ventilation pipe. It's going in and it's starting to look good. Another day in the loft. There's going to be a glass shower screen here, and we need to attach it somehow at the top to stabilise it. And I don't want to be screwing into plasterboard because I don't think that's going to be strong enough. So I'm going to set in I'm going to take off the plasterboard sheet, take a little bit out of the insulation, and set in a piece of plywood. And then that's there to screw into when I come to set the screen up. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm not looking forward to it because it's mucky, it's dusty, I'm going to have to wear a mask, gets in your eyes. It's my own fault. Let's crack on. So as I explained, there's going to be a glass screen and I need to screw it to the ceiling. I ain't just screwing it to plasterboard. So here I am just chiseling off the layer of plasterboard, and there's insulation underneath. So I'm carefully removing about 1/2 inch of that. I'm going to put a piece of plywood in, which means I've got something solid to screw to. So there it's in. There's the plasterboard going back. Just screwing it on. It's attached to a rafter. You can see how much muck it creates. I clear this up all the time because otherwise you get it in your lungs. It's terrible stuff. Morning after the day before. Fitted the last little bit of plasterboard. I've got to tidy up the foam, which gets absolutely everywhere, but if you let it get dry, don't try and clean it up when it's wet, it just flicks off. So now I'm going to trim all this up, see where I've got any latent gaps, and I'm going to have to go and get a couple of drywall screws, which I'm short of, which is the story of your life, let's be honest. Right, let's crack on. So now I need to work out how to put the pipe in for the shower head. I'm trying to clear stuff out of the way and work out how to put it in. There's the pipe, it's got an elbow on the end. I make this block up with a hole just big enough, and I know if I position that block just right, it'll make sure that pipe's vertical. I had to make some shims, some tapers actually, some wedges to get it right. Got it right, let's wrap it in plasterboard so we can plaster it. There we are. Now I'm just filling some big holes with some bonding plaster and we're good. Time to test the bathroom electrics. So that cable there with the socket on the end is the end of the cable that will ultimately go to the consumer unit. So I'm just checking out that the bathroom electrics work. Don't judge me. So light switch, bathroom fan. So, hey, I already knew that worked. Now, bathroom fan. This is an on-off switch, twin pole. the loop up there will ultimately be a humidity switch. So this will switch it on and off, but so will the humidity switch. So when that switches off, because the humidity is at a level, the shower light and everything will switch off. When it switches on, it'll switch it on the fan. The fan, I had to put the plumbing in for the plasterer to come. The pipe, and there's a fan there, down there, and that is a fuse spur. All that's going to be in a box somewhere. So that fuse spur needs to be 6 amps. So that's what it's going to be. So let's listen now and watch for the light. Hey, light! And there's a fan there whirring away. So that's going to be 6 amps. So I'm going to put that on just so that I know it's on. This circuit is just a test circuit. So that fan is going to pump out in that soffit down there. He's 1/2 metre. I'm going to put this board in and mount it all on that board and then work it out to box it in away from water and stuff. So, whoop, whoop, getting there. So that's the ensuite room built, provision for all the services like waste, plumbing and so on. And now we're ready for the plasterer. Once the plasterer has been, it'll be a question of completing some of those electrics, letting it dry, getting it painted, and I'll paint the rest of the loft at the same time. Because of course, once I've done that, then I can hang the light fittings, and we're ready for details like wardrobes, cupboards, skirting boards, stuff like that, and then the mammoth task of fitting the ensuite. So I hope you found that useful, and then I'll introduce you to more when we start fitting the bathroom. Bye.